I'm going to ask it as generally as I can to start. What happened yesterday through your eyes? What happened?
So there was an incident this week earlier with Habib and Artem, who was on the card. Artem Lubov is his name, who is very good friends with Conor. Our staff was there. We broke it up. This type of stuff happens all the time amongst fighters. You know, the week of the fight, they've been in training camp. They're cutting weight. They're irritated. They're agitated. And if people have problems, they see each other. And these things happen. Conor heard about it and loaded a plane up in Ireland. And 20 goons, they jumped on a plane and they flew here. Yesterday during media day, they had it timed perfectly that when everything was breaking up, the fighters are going down, they're getting on the buses, they're going back. He had two of his guys who were credentialed to cover the event for the Mac Life, a company of his. And they opened these side doors. The cameras caught that they opened these side doors, let these guys in. These guys got down to the buses and started to attack the buses. And Habib and his crew weren't the only ones on there. I mean, the entire fight card was pretty much on the the main fight card. Were in the buses and their camp. So the first thing when he throws the dolly through the window, Mike Chiesa, one of the fighters, was sitting there. The dolly hit him, and the glass came in and cut him up. He's in bad shape. I actually talked to him on the way here. One of the other fighters, Ray Borg, Mike Chiesa told me that glass, when it broke, turned into almost dust in the thing, and it actually cut the eyeball, the cornea and the retina of Ray Borg, another fighter. Obviously, these guys are fighters, but when you get attacked like that, it's a pretty traumatic thing. You're cutting weight, you're getting ready for your event. These are athletes, and they were attacked.
I mean, there was no specific ban on Conor, right? I mean, were you expecting him to show up as support for Artem?
Conor and I have a great relationship, right, and everything was great. Listen, he knew he hasn't fought in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
The Mayweather fight doesn't count in the UFC, so it was almost 2 years since he fought. And, he was saying he wanted to come back in September, which would have been 2 years. So, the division has to move on. So we had done an interim title, and now this was for Conor's title. And when he came back, he could fight the winner for the title. He could, move to 170. He could go to 145. We've pretty much let him do whatever he wants to do. I've actually been ridiculed for letting him do what he wants to do.
And to be clear, you've spoken to him since this, yes?
We had a text session yesterday that was not very good. It was, most of the things I would rather not say and probably can't say on TV.
Are there any details you can share with us?
Is he apologetic at all?
No.
Okay.
He said that he was apologetic toward Rose because Rose Namajunas was very upset. Obviously, Michael Chiesa, and he didn't know at the time Ray Borg was hurt too. But, he was apologetic about the people that, he wasn't trying to hurt, but he felt like the Khabib thing had to be done.
You know the way this stuff works. Half the world out there is saying this was a stunt, this was planned, this was fake. What's your reaction?
This is the last stunt on earth we would ever pull. I mean, this is embarrassing for the sport and, for obviously for the UFC, and this is the furthest thing from a stunt. This is bad.
Did you know that
stunts don't get people thrown in jail and with counts of criminal activities? So no.
Have you heard that? Because you and I have known each other a long time.
Yep.
The second I saw all this happen, I was like, fake! And I'm just thinking, it's like WWE style. This is the whole thing. So now that you're hearing, and once we heard charges were filed, okay, that probably changes a lot of people's
And that he had
minds.
to turn himself into
That he
authorities.
Had to turn himself in.
His passport was tagged, so he couldn't get on his private jet and fly back to Ireland. Conor's in a lot of trouble.
So what happens now? Do you cut ties with him, or do you think this is good overall?
This weekend, obviously yesterday I was in shock and very upset and everything else. We get through this weekend, we get back to Vegas, and we just start figuring this thing out on what to do. And obviously, the big question everybody's been asking me, are you firing Conor McGregor? Are you firing? I mean, this is bigger than is Conor McGregor getting fired. There's just so many more moving pieces to this thing, and it's so bad. The guy to turn himself in, and he's probably going to be a convicted felon when this is over.
I heard you say yesterday, we played the sound there, that Conor McGregor, he's going to lose a lot of fans for this. Yeah. That's the one part where, candidly, I might disagree with you. He's He is in a combat sport. His reputation and his antics in public, while perhaps not going to this level in terms of endangering other people who aren't in an octagon or in a boxing ring, have not been so dissimilar from this. I think in some ways, among some people, this might actually grow his legacy.
See, but I think that, in my opinion, the way that I see Conor McGregor was a guy that people looked up to. Yes, he was cocky. Yes, he was brash, but he would do things that he said he would do. He would go in and perform and knock guys out that he said he would knock out. He never did anything like this.
I get it. So
this is completely different. And you're right. In this world, there's going to be people who are turned off by this and don't like Conor, and there's going to be people that will probably even like him better.
And so I can sense that you feel let down by him in this. Why do you think he did it?
Absolutely, I'm let down. If you look at this kid, not only is he the biggest star in the UFC, he's one of the biggest stars on planet Earth in all of sports and entertainment. And he has a son at home.
Yep.
He just had a baby, and he's got a bright future with the UFC. I mean, we were working on a new deal that was going to pay him ridiculous money. There's still the talk of the Floyd Mayweather fight potentially happening, and he's a sponsor's dream. So
how do you explain this? Why do you think this happened yesterday?
I have no explanation for it. I think that I think that he's surrounded by a lot of people. He was very upset that I said yesterday, "What is this guy on drugs?" Is this guy on drugs?
People have insinuated that.
What would make somebody show up and do this when you're one of the biggest stars in the world? I just can't wrap my brain around it.